For months now, I've been sketching out different scenes of sleepwalkers and monoliths, planning out some paintings I want to make. In the following, I'll try to explore why these images keep coming back to me. Monoliths embody things like power and death and epic, even cosmic timescales. They seem impenetrably dead and dumb, but at the same time they hum with secrets, lively whispers, and ancient stories. Dreams of distant futures and new worlds yet to come. So how can we find those visions? I live near an old cemetery where I go for a walk every once in a while. You might think it's a bit of a morbid place to get some fresh air. And well, you wouldn't be completely wrong. Today, it's frozen and covered in snow. So yeah, it's peaceful and beautiful. Yet, it ain't exactly bursting with life, is it? Though, just you wait until summer comes. It's completely different. Unlike most cemeteries, this one in central Copenhagen is a social space, not just a doom-laden realm for goth kids to lurk. The season changes and the cemetery comes alive. Sunbathers, children playing, people enjoying themselves and each other, and just being out and about in the long, sunny days. So it's a happy place, not morbid. Even in the middle of winter, it makes me feel alive, connected with the world. Of course, the cemetery doesn't suddenly become some sort of pagan carnival ground in the summertime. There's still dead people buried all over the place. The gravestones don't turn into picnic tables or beer holders or something. They're just a simple fact of the place. Neither good, nor bad, not morbid. They just are. Now, if you wander through the cemetery, you'll see there's been a lot of different gravestone trends from over the years. Some are grand and some are humble. Some reach back to antiquity for their look. Others are a bit more playful, whimsical, poetical, and so on. My own personal favorites are the ones that get deep into a Viking vibe and go monolithic, imitating medieval Norse runestones and prehistoric dolmens. These monuments commemorated the lives of the rich and powerful from those times. And well, not much has changed since prehistory and medieval times. I haven't looked into the cost of a contemporary dolmen, but I'm going to guess it's expensive. Anyways, it's these stones that lean into what I think are the essential properties of a good gravestone. They're as big and as solid as anything. Yeah, they're not the most subtle statements about their owners' egos, but they represent some fundamental materials and cosmic timescales that we tend to think about when we think about mortality and our place in the world. They're as big and powerful as the feelings we have when someone whom we love dies. They're memorials as well as timekeepers, monoliths tick-tocking through aeons, existing long before and after our short little lives. In other words, they're big in all senses of the term. Monoliths, like these snow-covered gravestones, memorials for those who died, celebrating their lives and what they stood for, the presumably good deeds they did, the things that made them important when they were alive, trying to lock all their lively consequentiality into silent stone. Something, like I just mentioned, that must be pretty expensive. Broadly, through history, monoliths are expressions of power, wealth, and social status. Just like the dead bodies buried in the cemetery and their gravestones, there's little you can do to change the fact of their existence, or their non-existence, however you might want to describe it. They sit there, mute, timeless, fortress-like, containing secret knowledge you'll never understand, looming over your frail body. There's just no arguing with a monolith, and we're stuck with them. Their power over you is that you are alive and must survive in this world. The monolith doesn't have to worry about things like food and shelter. It was here long before you, and will be here long after you. You must accept it. There is no other choice. You must kneel before this monolith. The monolith can be many things, so it must be less of a category than it is a general attitude of us towards them. If the look and feel of authority, whether human or divine, is a taste or preference, then we can also reject that preference. Tastes change with the times, with the societies and cultures we create. The monolith's power comes only from us. This is just one of the many types of monolith. Granted, it's one of the more popular flavors, authoritarian, fascist. Luckily, we can think about the specific power a monolith has while stripping it of its signature authoritarian leanings. We can escape the looming shadow of power and death monolith by focusing on our own experience of the monolith. After all, we do spend a lot of time, whether we're aware of it or not, experiencing all types of monolithic energies. We are engaged audiences to the monolithic spectacles of our built physical and cognitive environment. Before we build a monolith, we imagine it, we dream it. We all each have any number of different monoliths towering within us, and only together can we externalize them and make them concrete in this world. Not only to suppress and deaden, but also monoliths we can use as tools, as weapons of resistance, and so on. Part of a battle between symbols in the marketplaces of attention and emotion. The value of our feelings disintegrating and reintegrating over and over and over again. We are surrounded by monoliths. We are possessed by them. And once you start looking, you can see them everywhere. Even in the stars. Is the universe a monolith? To get towards making our own earthly monoliths, we need to rope the idea in, just a little bit, and think about our own subjective experience of the monolith. That way we can use common definitions as a starting point for journeys. Think monolith, and what comes to your mind? When I hear the word monolith, I don't think of just an object or a building or something. I think of a feeling that's made up from a bunch of different things. I think of John McCracken's minimalist sculptures, extraterrestrial messengers sent to pierce the divide between what we can imagine, what we can see, our sense of reality. And that makes me think of the apes in Stanley Kubrick's 2001 A Space Odyssey, frantically leaping around a humming and dark monolith that appeared overnight. I think of the persistent afterlife of Percy Shelley's poem Ozymandias, about ancient ruins and the fatal ironic hubris hidden inside any human endeavor. Things outlived, losing any memory of who made them and why. I think of the dreams of glowing temples and glass cities of Vasily Lucart and Bruno Taut and Paul Scheerbart, nestled up near the stars and Alpine mountains. How beautiful yet frigid and fragile they seem. That makes me think of the gut-wrenching feeling I have when I look at a skyscraper and imagine how scared I'd be living way up there. I think of the music of Earth, of wolves in the throne room, music that roars and shakes. I think of Musique Concrète, Morton Feldman, Giacinto Scelsi, Elsa Marie Pill. The constant music in the earth and in our structures and networks, music that's always latent and only channeled and revealed for brief, intense durations. I think of 12-hour-long industrial ambient music by Iron Cthulhu Apocalypse, Cryo Chamber, and others. Durational landscape shots streaming on YouTube and glowing out into darkened bedrooms around the world. That makes me think of mimic emanations that appear overnight, the mystery being the point of it all. The spectacle is the monolith, so playful and fleeting that they can't be pinned down, a fun blip in reality. I think of the dark screens we put so much into, our faces, our heads, an edifice served by occult and cryptic tombs. When I hear the word monolith, I think of things like that. Constantly emerging, receding, changing, reappearing. The monolith echoes through liminal spaces, the spaces between spaces, spaces that are non-spaces, that you can only travel through, but cannot reside in. If there's any consistency running through the thought exercise I just went through, then the monolith is a liminal object, one that is constantly changing, while at the same time impossibly complete. Its relationship to us can be as a harbinger, a warning of violent change, whether good or bad, or something to grab onto, to lock our eyes on, to embrace as chaos swirls around us, like a transitional object, a baby's security blanket, a calming monolith. Dictionaries are a kind of monolith, a tome and a tomb. When read bravely and curiously and with doubt, they offer us a mass of possible meanings and feelings and experiences to begin journeys from. But when read with subservient fear, under siege by grammar Nazis, filing fascists, and so on, they can also entrap those possibilities, deaden the world. These are the insidious accountants of experience, and they are undead. Words are our best shots at describing things, objects, feelings, experiences, so we need to fight for them. And often it's the odd, confusing, and uncomfortable gaps between words that can generate new ideas, new definitions, meanings that we can create. We have dictionary definitions, and we have the history and theory of architecture to help us understand that, well, a monolith can be several different things all at once. Often, when people say something is a monolith, they actually mean to be saying megalith, as in, oh, look at that Stone Age megalith structure. what a monolithic thing that is. A megalith is made of monoliths, but monoliths are more than megaliths. They supersede them. A monolith just is, whether it's a huge rock that's been around since forever, or a boulder dragged from somewhere far away, then plonked in the middle of a field by some druids 3,000 years before the birth of Christ. A megalith is a result of agency. It's constructed. It is a megalith because it was made that way, and there's some purpose or reason for it, no matter how vague or forgotten that might be. So, monolith and megalith. Two overlapping and often interchangeable ideas. The shifting space in between is where the meaning is, where the fun is. Something we can give new meaning to. So, and this is sort of where I've ended up, at least for now. When we call something a monolith, we're describing an object that vibes between having always existed and having at some point been created. An eternal object made by someone or something that always was and always will be. Another important thing for rethinking monoliths is that the adjective, monolithic, I think also describes a feeling that we all have. When you feel monolithic, you have a sudden awareness of unity, completeness, and connection that you can't quite explain. It's a passing feeling. You might also feel a little seed of doubt planted deep down, as if this sense of completeness is somehow fabricated or an illusion. But it's exactly that sometimes confusing space that explains why monoliths are important and can be useful. What is this thing? Where did it come from? Has it always been here? Was it moved here? By whom and why? Did a person make it? Did a god make it? Did animals make it? Did extraterrestrials make it? What is its purpose? And how do I use it? When we call something a monolith, we are asking if that thing has always been there, or if someone, or something, created it and put it there. Confusion can be a horrible feeling, but it can also be creative. It forces us to imagine all the possibilities. The monolith is a feeling. It taps into something that lurks in the shadows in our dreams. Something coded into our primal lizard brain, our amygdala, our limbic system, triggering a distant memory of a terrible fear, making us freeze, making us kneel and submit, or causing us to dream of new worlds from the old. Ancient and modern, gargantuan and speck-like, as much a heavy concrete fundament of our material world as it is an energetic lightness coursing through our collective psyche. A monolith is so powerfully whole, so convincingly solid, determinately individual, and essentially finished, that the idea of it hums, rumbles, roars through our bodies and our minds. A monolith does not reflect us, but rather it confronts us with something so absolutely, inarguably, unattainably complete.